Stephanie, I will turn the floor over to you for a marketing committee report.
Thank you. And thank you again for everyone being so patient with the muting and unmuting and running the slides. And so luckily I'm not technically challenged. So okay, marketing committee. As the marketing committee, I'm chair and board of director liaison on the committee. Currently, Pete and I work closely for that committee, and we're able to fulfill our purpose as the marketing committee goes is to support the branding and message to the current members as well as attract new members to the organization. We offer marketing support in all committee efforts, and so that sometimes keeps us hopping, or keeps me hopping, I should say. If you do choose that you'd like to work on the marketing committee, some of the tasks that as members you would be responsible or would be able to help out with are social media updates, organizing and writing newsletter content and press releases. There's also a call for graphic or artwork design because we do have display advertising as well as assistance on any promotional materials on occasion. And then, of course, writing articles. Now, you as a marketing committee member would not be responsible for doing all of these. If there is a portion like social media updates, if you're really into social media and you enjoy doing that portion, I would certainly, and we do have some people who help out, I'll get to that a little bit later, but if there's something on this list that inspires you, then by all means, please make sure you contact the nominations at afmte.org through the LDC, or contact me directly if you have questions and would like to know more about it. I'll be happy to explain that. As far as the marketing director, my tasks include facilitating organizational event support like we have here today with the webinar, putting together the PowerPoint slides, website database maintenance as requested and approved by the board of directors, creating collateral and promotional materials from the ideas provided by those committee chairs and board of director liaisons. We also contribute to the newsletter, articles, and press releases, distribute the press release and articles. I also craft the social media campaigns that basically those purposes are to engage followers, connect with members, educate, and communicate all the Alliance news. We utilize Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and some of you may not be aware, we recently launched our YouTube as well as Google Plus pages. And so you'll be finding out more and hearing more about those in this time next year. I also manage the display and website advertising that we launched and then made the announcement of it last year, as well as the media sponsor contracts. I also provide search engine optimization services monthly and create website pages and programs as requested and approved by the board of directors. Next, I want to thank our very generous media sponsors, Massage Today, Massage Magazine, and the Florida State Massage Therapy Association. Each one of you have agreed, and that's part of that media sponsor contract that I mentioned before. I work very closely with them. And the editors for those particular associations, that making sure that we have our article opportunities available to us and getting that out to members to get those written, whether it's myself, Pete, Cherie, Sue, I know Ralph Stevens has written, David Lauderstein. There's been several people who have written. Carol Osborne have provided information for us. And so I just want to, sometimes you don't see all the moving parts behind the scenes. So I just want to thank you for that, and thank you to these companies for making that possible. I also want to give my appreciation to the social media, the videographers, the newsletter, and those professional bloggers. I see you doing things with the Alliance and for the Alliance all the time. Ryan Hoyme, the massage nerd, thank you so much for all your video work that you do for us. Sandy Fritz, you are one of our biggest cheerleaders. I love seeing how many times you show up with links back to our website. I see it, so thank you. Laura Allen, another big proponent of AFMTE. Thank you so much for everything that you do as far as blogging, getting the word out, and sharing on the social media. Ralph Stevens and Cherie Sonin-Mo. If you're not familiar or your schools are not familiar with her Teacher Day newsletter, please get with her and get registered there because she does a fabulous job and she's another one of our big supporters. Also, a major congrats and thank you and appreciation to social media assistants from Alyssa Haynes as well as Susan Salvo. You both have been instrumental in helping me with content this year, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate that, and especially with the Twitter. Alyssa is an awesome on Twitter. You can tell she really loves it. So thank you, ladies, so much. It makes my job a lot easier, or my volunteer work a lot easier, having those helpful hands. As far as the reports go, the press releases and links to the articles can all be found on our afmce.org/news, and we continue to update that. There's 3 different new categories on that page, and so you'll be able to find them. We've also then, Pete conducted a workshop at the AMTA State Chapter Convention in Illinois, and I thought it was important that we share some of the great feedback we received from the organization in a follow-up survey that went out. The professional development for educators, 90% of those attendees agreed strongly that the course was relevant to the present work, and that class was based on the core competencies, teaching and training for teachers. So we had some, as you can see, some really positive feedback, and then I also want to thank the NCB-TMB for their blog post that they did, the interview that they did with Pete. Our website updates, just to bring you up to speed. On average, we're still averaging over 800, almost, as you can see, almost 900 visitors per day. Last year at this time, we had just over 700. So we have seen a big increase in the amount of people showing up. Our average page views has doubled. We now have over 2,181 page views monthly. That's an average of 73 pages per day. So that's a lot of pages. People are spending time on the website. They're obviously finding what they want. There's approximately 12 pages per visit. Our most popular pages continue to be the continuing education directory. Well, I know lots of our schools and continuing education providers are listing out their classes, and I just want you to have feedback to know that it is being looked at and being reviewed. The other big surprise was our resource. It wasn't a surprise. I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. And Cherie Sonin-Mo, that was a great idea that you had, putting together that resource directory to help with the standards and correlating resources that work for those standards. So that resource directory shows up continuously as one of the top most popular pages. And then the next pages that usually get a lot of traffic are Educator of the Year and the Conference of the Year. And of course, these are second to our homepage, so the homepage gets the most traffic, obviously. But I just think it's interesting, and I just want to, again, let you know that an update on the website. Other marketing and website updates within the 6 months, we've had election and slate ballots, and that particular, as Tracy had mentioned, it's available under, if you click on the membership, or it'll be a drop-down screen under membership, and then leadership, you'll be able to find the election slate and ballot, and information is there. Our mission statement, we did vote as a board to some changes on the mission statement, and I know Sue's going to cover that in her report in more in-depth, but that has been updated on the website. We also added a conference photo album, and thank you to Cherie's husband, Jim, for putting that together and being able for us to link that onto our website. I think it made for a really nice feature for our website and viewing pleasure. And any of those pictures that you have in from the conference from 2013, you can just right-click, save as, and download them for your own purposes. 2015, we have the Educational Congress, and obviously there have been some changes there. Our future projects, just so you know what we're going to be working on, obviously to grow our YouTube subscribers and use that a little more efficiently, as well as our Google Plus pages. We have the 2015 Educational Congress, which is a constantly ongoing. Those are going to be continuously updated as we expand and get the schedule and the lodging and the registration opens up. So we have lots of additions to make there. Our Educator of the Year pages will be updated, and the annual business meeting like we have here today, this will be built out into its own media library. The webinar is being recorded today, and what our plans are for is to segment out the recording rather than having a 1.5 hour, 2 hour recording. We're going to segment it into opening with finance, and then there'll be another video that says, you know, committee update, a video for the LDC and slate information, so that if there was a portion of the meeting that you wanted to go back and watch, or that you had to step away from, or if you're not able to stay with us throughout the whole meeting, you will be able to access that through this page and links, and they'll also be on our YouTube site. So it's going to take us about a week or two to get through that editing. We're not going to be removing any of the information that we share here. We're simply just going to be cutting and segmenting it out, not cutting. So videos for the annual business meeting. Yes, there will be 5 videos. So I think we have all that covered. To give you a social media update, this is where we've been since 2012, 13, and 14. As you can see with our Facebook fans, we continue to grow. That growth was a little bit slower this year, but we had a lot of other things on our plate. Twitter, I am very pleased with, and again, big shout out to Alyssa for helping me there. We doubled our followers from 300 to 600. And then on LinkedIn, that continues to be our strongest point. We had the biggest growth there. We had just under just over 2,400 people, and we now have just under 3,500 active members on there. So very, lots of growth. So the last thing I want to bring up is our membership survey update. We issued a membership survey on at the end of 2013. We had just over 40, or just about 40% of our members responded. We also issued over 500 out to non-members because we wanted to get their feedback as to why they haven't joined the Alliance yet. From that survey, there was a lot of information. The biggest thing that stuck out across all boards was that 40% of the respondents indicated that membership levels and pricing needed a review. So the board appointed a membership task force, and on July 8th, we submitted a recommendation back to the executive committee, which will then be sent to the board, and we'll have discussion and ratification on that. But the reason why I bring that up is I wanted, again, to thank you for your participation, and then also let you know that your voice is being heard and that we are responding to it. So that is it for me. I know I talk 90 miles an hour, but if anyone has any questions, I would gladly receive them at this time.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. And if you're reviewing the question box, I don't know if any questions have popped up there.
I'm not seeing, now that I have time to look at it, I don't see anything.
Okay, well, I think that you're doing a fantastic job. There's many wheels to this, and I wonder when you sleep.
Not often.
Okay,
I can tell you that.
That's what I thought. I can tell. So I would like to turn the floor over to Sue Bibick, our Vice President and Board Liaison for the Governance Committee.
Hi and welcome. Thanks so much for everybody being here. We are delighted to be able to do this meeting online, and as you saw Eric's two-fisted pump, we're all delighted that yeah, and all of our pumps, yeah, that we have the opportunity to do this. And so it'll be fun to see what kind of feedback we get from it, but I think it's really nice to have this kind of an option and take advantage of the technology. As a board, we've really been making use of it, especially in the executive committee. We do a lot of Google Hangouts for our meetings, and we also use Google Docs to get on as committees and work on projects. So we have working meetings even though we're not in person. So I am excited to tell you that we have a governance committee, and we have started this year, and it's pretty exciting. I'm the chair and the board liaison, and we've been trying to put this together for a while. We had our first meeting in February of 2014, and we have 3 committee members. M.K. Brennan is with us, Ginny Olson, and Deanna Sylvester, and we meet pretty much once a month, and I'm going to let you know what we're doing, how far we are on our project, and why we're doing what we're doing. So if I could have the next slide, please, Stephanie. So our purpose as a committee is to review, revise, and create policies and procedures for the Alliance that are consistent with the mission, vision, and bylaws of the organization. We are a very young organization. As you know, we put ourselves together in September 2009 and have had some pretty significant changes in terms of how we're functioning. So we opted to start this process with a review of the bylaws because we had made some, kind of like remodeling a house, you know, we remodeled the bedroom and then we did the kitchen, and we finally decided it's not cohesive, and so we need to make sure it's cohesive before we move forward with assessing the rest of our policies and procedures and writing what needs to be written. So we reviewed the bylaws, completed that, and sent that back to the executive committee for a review, and we are now going back through the bylaws and preparing a revised draft of that we hope to have to the board of directors by early fall. We will do revisions back and forth with the executive committee and the board as many times as we need to until we have a final bylaws to the board of directors for acceptance. It seemed to make sense to us to start this way, so because all the policies and procedures then roll from the bylaws, and so we really thought that made good sense to do that as a foundational step. So if I could have the next slide, please, Stephanie. So once we complete the review of the bylaws and get those updated and accepted, then we're going to review our current policies for consistency, determine which policies are still needed, and then draft new policies. And then we'll go back and forth again with the executive committee and the board reviewing and accepting, and we'll revise as many times as we need to. One of the things that's very exciting about this project to me is a lot like the Finance Committee and what Eric's been doing on the Finance Committee for the organization. It's a piece that's really important for the longevity of the organization. I'm delighted that we have a little bit of a break from having a conference and that we're going to be able to have the Educational Congress in 2015, because that really is giving us time as an organization to take a step back and go, okay, we've been pedaling really fast. We want this organization to last for the long run. What are the things we want to put in place to ensure that? So once we go through the policies and procedures and create those, that kind of a process back and forth and get that in place, then we'll assess and determine and create an orientation for the board of directors, orientation for committee chairs, more specific policies and procedures for the committees, things like that. So you can see that it's a top-down kind of a thing where we're starting with the bylaws, which will infuse and bring consistency to policies and procedures, and all the way through orientation and training for board and committee chairs. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we did as a board that comes into my committee work right now and is incorporated into it is that after our last conference in 2013, we had conversation and made a decision to draft an updated mission statement. And you can see that our first mission statement is sitting right there on the screen and is on the unwieldy side. And our new one is a little bit more streamlined, but more important than streamlined is the inclusion of bodywork education. Our new mission statement reads, "The Alliance for Massage Therapy Education serves as an independent voice, advocate, and resource for the massage therapy and bodywork education community," emphasizing the the inclusiveness of who we are as an organization, and really seeing ourselves as having the ability to bridge to a lot of organizations. As we revised our mission statement, we also revised our vision statement, working from the principle that education forms the foundation of a profession. Our mission is to support, strengthen, and elevate educational practices and standards in massage therapy and bodywork. We will strengthen and improve the field of massage therapy and bodywork by credentialing instructors in both entry-level training programs and postgraduate studies. So we see this from the very front end all the way through to have credentialed instructors. Understanding this is not a short program we're investing in, and that we're putting in place the foundations to ensure the potentiality of it. And the next sentence is the one that I think is most important in terms of what our real vision is. The vision of the Alliance is a credentialed instructor in every massage and bodywork class. That's a pretty strong statement, and we know that's a really big project, but we're also really convinced that with the way that the organization's been growing and populating the committees and getting strong committee chairs supporting what the board's work is, that we have a really good chance of following this one through. So I'm delighted to be working with the committee I'm working with. We have a great working relationship and are really clear that we're all holding the focus for the same vision that the Alliance has. So Stephanie, I don't know if you have any questions for me, but that's what I have from the Governance Committee today.
Perfect. Well, I did have a statement that Patty wanted me to share with you, Patty Gwynn. She said, "Great change." So good feedback on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other questions though, but let's just give it a couple of minutes to see if some questions do come in. But great job, Sue. I really thank you for that work. I know what you do is tremendous.
Thanks.
And Sue, I want to thank you as well, including M.K. Brennan and Ginny Olson and some of the other members. Is really a wonderful tie-in to some of the other core organizations in the massage field. At this point, unless there's questions.
Yeah, there are some questions coming in.
Okay.
Okay. Are those change statements formally accepted at this time by Carol Osborne?
The statements for the mission and vision? If she's referring to those statements, the answer is yes, the board has accepted those.
Okay. And Michelle Weissman, credential, massage schools and CE classes. She has a question mark there. I'm not sure I understand the question, Michelle. Or Sue, does that make?
Well, it sort of makes sense. Let me answer what I think the question is, and then she can re-clarify if I'm off base. What we're heading towards is that every instructor, regardless of whether they're teaching an entry-level massage therapy class or continuing education class to further massage therapist education, we would like to see all instructors credentialed so that they're all trained in education and the educational process.
Perfect. She said yes. That was it. And
Thanks,
then
Gil.
we do have one more question from Zar, and I'm not going to pronounce your last name right, Makula. Sorry if I butchered
That's right.
that.
That's correct.
Okay. Will AFMTE honor other teacher training programs already in existence in its credentialing?
That's a really good question, and I think that Dawn Hogue is going to speak to some of that when she talks about the Teacher Education Standard Project and the National Teacher Training Curriculum Development Committee. 1,000 points to me. I got both of those right. In terms of how the committee is working, what we're looking at assessments. So if she doesn't answer your question as fully as you would like, please feel free to re-ask it, but I'm pretty certain she's going to be addressing that.
Perfect. Okay, great, she says. Any other questions for Sue or about the changes that we made to our vision statement or the governance committee at this time?
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. It's such a pleasure to work with you, and as a fellow Libran, I so appreciate you. And in fact, on the screen right now, you have 3 Libras, so that's very interesting. So I just want to say that we're running a few minutes behind, and I'm not too worried about that. I just want to acknowledge the folks who are waiting to present, and so please, I want to turn the floor over to Dawn Saunders, our Membership Committee Chair and Board Liaison.
Yeah. Good day, everyone. Happy to be here. This is Dawn Saunders, as Pete said, Board Liaison and Chairperson for the Membership Committee. I have served on just a little bit about myself, I've served on the Alliance Board of Directors since the really late 2013. Prior to that, I served on this particular Membership Committee and took over for Stephanie Beck, who was actually doing, well, with all the hats she wore. I don't know how she got any sleep, because at that time she was also the membership board liaison, and then at the time, early 2014, we began the process of me taking over for Stephanie. So really, this committee is a membership of, a group of volunteers there are 9 of us. And I want to thank 3 of our current volunteers who have served on the membership committee all of last year. So I want to give a big, huge thank you to Pete Zooks, Jane Irvin, and Kate Zalowski hanging out and really toeing the line. We're going to strengthen this committee with the 5 new members that were recommended by the LDC. And so my job here today is to speak on behalf of those volunteers, and we serve this alliance group as volunteers in order to support the mission and vision that Sue outlined. So I will say that we do donate a significant amount of time, and I'm really here to share and summarize what our membership looks like, what it looks like to be an alliance member, what committee news and updates I can share, and I'm also here to do some pom-pom waving and encourage everyone to share all the information as possible about joining the Alliance. So as we look at what the next slide looks like, Stephanie, we're going to just do a quick summary on the membership categories. Right now, as Eric and Stephanie both mentioned, these membership categories are what are currently in place. And what they mentioned before is that we did form a task force and made a recommendation just after the July 4th holiday. And so we should have some news, I would say, in the next couple of months regarding membership categories. But we are looking at the following categories. We have schools, teachers, continuing education providers, allied members, which I know Ruth's question earlier spoke of the corporate sponsorship side of things. Most of our allied members are vendors, and then we have a supporting member. People who want to support the alliance but aren't necessarily interested in being members or voting members, I should say. So let's look at the next slide. Stephanie, you've already done that. Great. So why do people join the alliance? These are our membership benefits. I think the #1 membership benefit, that's why it's listed first, is that status. So I feel like you have the opportunity to network with other educators and other schools, and I've seen it personally as a way that I can make my voice heard within the profession. So you're looking at a number of wonderful benefits. Particularly, I want to bring up the insurance discount that was just announced this past week, $20 discount from Massage Magazine, and they have some perks to their insurance. So please consider looking into that. But you can see, along with status and receiving a discount, you can vote in annual elections. So Tracy outlined how we're going to go about doing that. Please consider voting and utilizing the Alliance logo, possibly at the bottom of your email. Brag to your friends that you're an Alliance member and that you want them to join as well. So there's some pom-pom waving. So these are the general benefits. The next slide details benefits for our organizations, schools and continuing education, as well as our allied members. And what you can see is that we provided a generous package to anything from free listings to advertising discounts and receiving a free banner ad that they can reach out to Stephanie directly. And we can't forget about for schools in particular, expert support from Lex at Art of Admissions. So I encourage schools, if you haven't taken advantage of that, please, please do. It's been a wonderful, generous benefit for schools, and I've heard some good feedback about that. So when we look at the current dues structure, we have two options for schools, teachers, continuing education providers. We have an associate level, and we have a gold level. So when you keep those in mind, when we go to the next slide, so yeah, there we go, detailing the gold membership. All of the previous privileges, or AKA benefits, of joining the Alliance. We have dues that are outlined below. We are appreciative of the people who have chosen to become gold members. And again, based on some of the survey feedback, we're looking at possibly streamlining and changing some of the structure, but these are people who have really stood out, and most of these people have donated a lot of time and energy as well. So we are extremely thankful to all of our members, and when we look at the difference between a gold membership, the dues are significantly less, but all of our members are valued, and I would say on the associate side, we can see that schools and CE providers and teachers, it is affordable to join, and as we're looking at restructuring some of this, we are keeping in mind, again, back on the survey side of things, and really our understanding of the cost side of things, and appreciate your support. So what we are looking to do, we'll go ahead, next slide. Last of my summary here we go, is on the committee side, we are focused on providing our members with excellent service. Mostly we support the board of directors in ways that involve answering emails and phone calls, and we are tasked by not only the board of directors but also by the leadership development committee as to ways that we can serve our members and help make it easier on the board. We get a significant amount of emails that are answered by Pete and Stephanie and everyone, particularly Cherie. So what we're looking at doing is taking all of the strengths that each of our committee members bring, and I've asked them to rank what they wish to do. And it's looking like we have a really diversified committee at this point to be able to not only on the back end support on the database side and manage the sides of things that take some pressure off the board, but also ways that we can serve our members through providing marketing support to Stephanie and keep our members engaged. So as we look forward, and as a committee, as we get rolling, we're meeting every 3 weeks, and I appreciate that these people have taken the time, and you'll look forward to hearing from us soon, because we're going to reach out to you. And my last slide here is my call of action, and I will say that we're currently looking to grow our membership. I'd like to see us double our membership personally. I'm kind of throwing down the gauntlet a little bit. I haven't told that to anyone. But I will say before our next group come together, which is next July, right, 2015 Educational Congress, I really want to see. So you've got to definitely ask your friends to join. I thank you very much for all of your time. Tell 3 colleagues about us. Really, this is my pom-pom waving. I'm not really a pom-pom person, but I know Tracy encouraged you to join the Energy Bank. I could absolutely utilize some help on the phone call side of things. So if anybody loves to make calls and phone a friend, please reach out to the LDC or by way of Tracy Walton's recommendations earlier. So thank you, and again, I appreciate all that our members and hope we can encourage more people to join us in this wonderful organization. So any
Thank you.
questions my way?
Thank you so much, Dawn. Appreciate all your work.
Okay, we've got a couple of cleanup questions that rolled in. First, Judith had asked about access to the CE directory that I didn't see until after we moved on, Judith, so I apologize. But currently, only Gold CE providers, anyone Gold staff has access to upload their CE courses on the CE directory. If you are a Gold member, then absolutely, you or anyone else, you can certainly email me, sback@afmce.org, and I'll make sure that you have the access and help you get uploaded. Next, Martha Menard said that her organization is working on creating competency standards on oncology for MTs, and she would like to talk with the AFMC, so you and Don will make sure that you get taken care of there. And anyone for Don Saunders now, questions about membership, membership drive, please make sure that you get them entered into the question. And I don't see anything, Don, so I believe we're ready to, oh, wait, hold on, something. All right, no, it's not a question, so we're all good. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to move on. Nancy Dale will be our next presenter. She and Cherie Sonamo are involved with the Congress planning. I will turn the floor over to Nancy Dale.
Thank you very much, Pete. It is an honor to have worked on this committee on the last 3 conferences that I've been on. Our committee functions basically to support the alliance and the industry by organizing, planning and executing events that bring us all together for education, business, networking, and social interactions. It's no small job, as usually we don't always get lucky that somebody actually that's on the committee actually lives in the area that we have the conference. So it's like putting on a giant party and making sure that everything works. So this particular committee is very, very active. I really need to thank all of the committee members who have helped us on past conferences, because there are so many different jobs that people have done. And most especially Cherie Sonamo, our board liaison, has been invaluable with organizing the sponsors, exhibits, and being my right arm. I don't know what I would do without her. So I want to thank her very specifically. We have kind of upped the ante, and it has been decided that we're going to have an educational congress. Could I have the next slide, please? So in the next Congress, we've decided we're going to work with industry stakeholders. So not only will be planning our conference event, but the entire week-long event. What happens in a pre-conference involvement is that we have to decide on the hotel and the conference logistics. That means getting in touch with various hotels, deciding on a location, doing contracts, and all of that. And then we have to look at scheduling and session planning, and that is a job in of itself. We have to obtain exhibitors and sponsors, collect prizes, choose presenters, and then we have the help of Stephanie in marketing. And then there are special events that are always happening at these conferences. Can I have the next slide, please? So I think that's the last slide. We need to go forward. Here we go. So members on the committee are involved in different aspects of the committee. At the convention itself, we have volunteers that put together all of those goodie bags and that each person gets, besides keeping the registration and the conference activities running, meeting with any meeting planning that are going on in the hotel itself, and making sure that we are doing conference calls when we get closer to the event. We're still a year out to this particular event, but we get closer. We're almost bi-monthly in our conversations. And I would like to mention that our committee would welcome more members in it. We work on Google Docs, conference calls, and individual work in between. Could I have the next slide, please? So this is a preview of our participating organizations that are going to be associated with the Educational Congress. Our theme for this is fostering collaboration with these organizations. Our collaborators include COMTA, the Commission on Massage Therapy Accreditation. They are a co-host for this Educational Congress. The American Organization for Bodywork Therapies of Asia, the Society for Oncology Massage. And our other industry partners that will also be there are the Associated Bodywork and Massage Professionals, the Academic Consortium for Complementary and Alternative Healthcare, the American Massage Therapy Association, the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, the Massage Therapy Foundation, and the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork. Now, I get kind of excited just looking over all of these titles. It's a pretty exciting thing. So our location, I'm happy to announce, is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's going to be at the Commons Hotel on the University of Minnesota campus, and you're seeing kind of a skyline picture there that we took off of the Common Hotel website. The Commons Hotel is in the heart of the university district, so this is a real opportunity for us to be surrounded by academia, and it offers real diversity in all of Minneapolis for a lot of food, culture, sports, parks, shops, as well as the expansive Mall of America. The guest rooms are spacious. There's some lovely dining at the hotel itself in what is called the Beacon Public House. And I have to say that I've spent quite a bit of time in Minneapolis myself because we used to have our COMTA meetings there. And so I can really speak from experience that there's a lot of good places to eat in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. The overview of the draft schedule, and I would emphasize that this is a draft. This will eventually be on the website for everybody to see. But right now we're still working on things, and logistically we're also working on what other stakeholder organizations are putting together. So a lot of people are going to be, a lot of these stakeholders organizations will be having their meetings there as well. For instance, COMTA is going to have its commissioner meeting on Tuesday on 7/21/2015. Wednesday we'll start our conference registration and scheduled group meetings. Thursday the conference actually begins. It will begin with of course our introductions and openings, but we'll have a keynote. We're going to have one keynote this year instead of two. There will be exhibits available for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're going to have a group lunch and the opportunity to visit exhibits on Thursday, as well as a large congressional update with all our collaborators and industry partners on Thursday, and a welcome-sponsored reception for Thursday night. Friday we'll have our face-to-face business meeting, and there will be exhibits, there will be breakout sessions during the day, as well as a group lunch and optional meetings, and then Friday evening will be an opportunity for people to go out to dinner. Saturday, we have a morning memorial walk, more exhibits, more breakout sessions in the morning as well as the afternoon, and another group lunch, and of course our closing. For Sunday through to Tuesday, there'll be various board and educator meetings of all the collaborators and industry partners. Next slide, please. So our exhibitor and sponsorship information, the hall is going to be open July 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We already have a silver sponsor, the Books of Discovery, which have been a great sponsor and supporter for us or at past conferences. The opening reception sponsor is Massage MD Spas, and many companies have already purchased table space. So there are only 30 spaces available, and the prospectus can be found on our website, and I have the URL up there so that people can look at that. We urge you to download the sponsor prospectus if you need to. And so this is going to be an amazing event, and I hope that you save the date for the Educational Congress, and I do want to thank everyone on our committee, especially since the committee has kind of, on each call, there are individuals from other stakeholders, especially Kate from CompTA has been on the calls, and that is very helpful because we've got more minds to discuss and brainstorm with, and it's just been a great opportunity to work with a great group of people. So I welcome you all to come to our next party at the 2015 Educational Congress that will be held in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you so much. I'll entertain any questions that there might be right now, but look for more information on our website as soon as we get it together.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And I see that Cherie has popped up on the screen, so I wanted to acknowledge her. Thank you so much, Nancy and Cherie, for your support and your direction for all the conferences that we've done over the last few years. Your work is well appreciated, and I want to honor you both.
Thank you so much, Pete, and thanks so much, Cherie.